Well, Firebrick Pharma says that it's on to something. A nasal spray called Nasodine, which can kill germs, be that viral or bacterial, those that are responsible for respiratory infections, such as the common cold. And its sales are picking up. So moving to commercialization in a more meaningful way. To get all of the details, its co-founder, CEO, and chair, Peter Molloy, joins me now. Peter, welcome to AusBiz. Thank you so much for joining us. Was that a fair enough description of the main product? Could you tell us in a little bit more detail what exactly it is?
Sure, Nadine. Okay, this is the product Nasodine, and it's currently available in several markets, notably the US and Singapore, and also very soon in Fiji and South Pacific and other markets as well. So we're very excited about it. It comes at an opportune time because of, well, frankly, COVID changed everybody's perceptions about the threat of respiratory illness from viruses and other germs. And this is a product that kills them all without any potential for microbial resistance. So that really differentiates it from any other option. And I think it's a great option for frontline defense in any future pandemic, but also for general use by people as a nasal sanitizer in situations where they feel exposed to other people's germs, like in a commuting setting, or, that we've all been on a plane where someone's sitting behind us or in front of us and they're blowing their nose and sneezing and it's very uncomfortable. Well, this is exactly the setting in which this product should be used. And it's currently on the market in Singapore, and we're really using that market as a showcase market for the product to demonstrate its commercial potential, with the longer term and I think more profitable goal being a licensing model in other markets, which we'll discuss during this interview.
Yeah, okay, so interesting times. You're expanding the reach across the Asian region, potentially into the South Pacific as well. Is it my understanding that Singapore has been sort of a testing market, a launch pad, so to speak, for your regional development?
That's absolutely correct. Singapore is a relatively small market population-wise. It's 6 million people, but it's a developed, westernized Asian market and a very good testing ground for a product like this. Also, it was a market where we could put the product on the market very quickly without undue regulatory delays. So that's one reason why it became an early market for us. And our goal there is to demonstrate the commercial potential of Nasodine and use this as kind of a showcase market to get licensees in the region excited about the product. And we're already getting a lot of attention and contact from prospective licensees. And that's really our long-term game, to rather than try to sell the product ourselves, as we're doing in Singapore and paying for all the manufacturing and all the marketing. What we'd really like to do is to have licensing partners do all the heavy lifting on the manufacturing and the marketing for us, and we just receive a license fee. And that's the case in other markets. For example, we've just signed a license agreement with a company in Fiji for distribution of Nasodine throughout the Asia Pacific. And under that agreement, we make $2.60 per unit. We don't have any of the manufacturing costs, and we don't have any of the marketing costs. And it's exactly the same deal we have in the Philippines with a company there called SV More. And the Philippines is not a small market. This is 120 million people, so 20 times the size of Singapore. And if we can iron out the bugs of the marketing strategy and demonstrate and prove the marketing strategy in Singapore, we can translate that into these other markets and have them go off flawlessly and generate very good profitability for Firebrick. That's our medium-term goal.
So, Peter, perhaps now is a time to get into the most recent first half results. Just talk to us about the sales dynamics, the sort of traction that you are gaining in Singapore that you can then extrapolate what might happen in other markets from here.
Yeah, that's a great question. So there have been three stages to the Singapore marketing strategy. The first one was selling the product online. And that is probably the least profitable and the most expensive strategy, believe it or not, because marketing a product online, it's a very crowded space, and the return on ad spend with social media is quite low. But it's a good way to seed the market and to make the product available. The second stage is marketing to healthcare professionals. And it became clear to us that healthcare professionals are going to be a very important part of the Nasodine marketing opportunity, because without their advocacy and their support, the support of key opinion leaders, the product won't have a long-term brand franchise. And their support is going to be very important. So that was phase two. But once again, that's modest sales outcomes, and it takes a long while to build that advocacy and support. The one with the biggest bang, and that was phase three for us, was the retail sales. So you can see in this chart that we started with the online approach in Singapore, and then went to the healthcare professionals marketing, which is SG Inarini. They're our marketing partner for healthcare professionals. And then suddenly in December, we have this massive takeoff in sales, which is the pipeline building for the retail sales, which started in January through the Guardian Pharmacy Group. So we're very optimistic about the potential for the retail sales. But all of these three strategies are an important part of the mix for making the product successful long term, and frankly, for testing out the different aspects of the strategy that we can then adopt in those licensing markets like Fiji and South Pacific and the Philippines and other markets that we'll bring to bear, that we'll add on in the future.
I would just like to talk about the US strategy for a moment, Peter, because it's my understanding that to get this product to market, and you are marketing it online already in the United States, you took sort of a wellness hygiene approach rather than a therapeutic approach, and that meant that you didn't need FDA approval. Just talk to us about that strategy and how you might see that evolving. Is it enough to be in the wellness hygiene category for this product?
Well, frankly, the answer to that is no. I mean, I would love to be able to go into the US market and say, here's a nasal spray that kills all germs and has no potential for viral or bacterial resistance. But that's not a position that we can adopt under the regulations in the US. But we can make the product available as a nasal cleanser. So we did that with the full knowledge that we would have limited claims potential. But what we've done is, what we've achieved is to make the product available. And in anticipation of a future pandemic or fears about a pandemic, this is the product that you need to have on hand. It's the only povidone iodine nasal spray in the US that's backed by 10 years of R&D and peer-reviewed publications and real clinical trials that prove its safety. If there is a pandemic in the US, whether it's bird flu or HMPV or anything else, there's only one nasal spray product, nasal sanitizer product, that the US government can go to, and it's Nasodine, because it's the only one backed by real science.
So speaking of science, it's my understanding that you're really moving on from the R&D phase, the heavy R&D phase in clinical trials, and instead, pushing forth with this commercialization model, including this licensing sort of blueprint. Just talk to us about how that, again, will help sales grow and will help reduce burn as well.
Well, I'm not sure that it's going to directly grow sales, but it's certainly going to help reduce burn, making the transition from an expensive, high-risk clinical trials-focused organisation, which is your typical Australian biotech, I guess, to one that's much more focused on commercialisation and generating sales in the medium term that are going to offset burn. I mean, that's a great strategy, and many companies never get there. We're making that transition in 2025, and as you can see from the numbers, we've greatly reduced our cash burn in the process, which is a good thing. And over time, we're going to see the license fees and the profits from sales start to eat in at the costs that we do have left over. Our ultimate goal is to become profitable based on Nasodine sales. and not just based on the sales of the nasal spray. We have a number of other products in development. So there's a number of exciting things happening over the next 12 months that I think the market's going to really take notice of.
Yeah, so we're expanding into different countries, and it's my understanding that there are more markets that are potentially irons in the fire right now. You are changing the sort of model to that licensing model. You've got new products you've just alluded to that would potentially be coming to market. Do you have any sort of a time frame for those new products?
Yeah, by the end of this year, I think we would likely see the first of these new products coming through, and we would make those available in Singapore and Fiji, South Pacific. And as soon as we're up and running in the Philippines, we will be adding them there as well. In fact, I'm heading to the Philippines tomorrow, along with Stephen Goodall. We're going to be overseeing the manufacturing that's taking place in the Philippines in anticipation of a launch in the next 12 months. So we're very excited about the Philippines opportunity, and I'm sure they're going to be excited to see all the new products coming through. And so, yeah, by the end of this year, I think we'll have some important news on that front.
Now, as far as investors, potential investors go, the share price has been making a move over the past few months or so, I believe up around 30% in the past 6 months or so. Everybody wants to know when a next catalyst would come, or how you see the next catalyst evolving. Where do you see the share price heading from here?
The unanswerable question, Nadine. But let me just correct you. The share price is up 70% over the last 3 months, and it's currently at an 18-month high. So it's actually really taken off in the last few months as we've, I think, demonstrated our ability to pull off this online to healthcare professionals to retail evolution in our marketing strategy in Singapore. And frankly, as we brought on another market in Fiji and South Pacific, while being a very small market relatively, it's indicative of how relatively easy it is to bring on new markets with a product like this that is classified as a topical antiseptic for nasal use. So yeah, so that's all that's going on, and we're very excited about the prospects on that basis.
And you and your co-founder Stephen Goodall, you've got a lot of skin in the game yourself as a shareholder, don't you?
We certainly do, and we've seen the ups and downs over the last few years, and we're both committed to making this company successful, and it will be successful, and we're both pretty excited about what's going to happen over the next 12 months.
Well, we will leave it there. Really appreciate you, Peter Molloy, joining us here on AusBiz.
Thank you. My pleasure.